Alex, what is the best advice you've ever heard or received?
Do so much work, it would be unreasonable for you not to be successful.
Second question, what is the worst advice you ever heard or received?
Follow your passion.
Question number 3, a piece of advice you wish you received sooner.
Find people better than you and do whatever you can to get them to help you, including helping them first without expectation.
Question number 4, a lesson that took you far too many times to learn.
Focus. One thing, all in.
And fifth and final question, we ask this to every guest who's ever been on the show. If you could create one law that everyone had to follow, what would it be?
Everyone has to give all their wealth away at the end of their life.
I love that one. But not to your kids. But
yeah,
not to,
no, but it has to be, exactly. It has to be given away.
To kids it doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, not to your kids. Like,
not to your kids.
Exactly,
Right. You're saying beyond your kids. Yeah, my friend just told me the other day that his dad just took him out the will. And his dad's giving all his money away to charity. And all the kids are not getting anything. He was heartbroken. He was like, oh God, I thought I was going to pay off the mortgage on my house.
It's so funny.
So
there's a Sanskrit saying around that, which is, if you have a good son, there's no need to accumulate wealth. If you have a bad son, there's no point to accumulate wealth. And so at the end of the day, that's my worldview, which is the reason that I would want the game to be structured so that everybody has to give all their stuff away at the end is because if you look at second and third order consequences of that, the people who are the best at aggregating capital, the people who are the best at making money, would be the ones who are also the best at allocating it. Yeah. And so you would actually have the best tools in the people who are best skilled to use them. And so if you know you have to give it away, then at some point near the later part of your life, you would stop trying to amass and start you'd focus on giving. And I think most people who do give get addicted to giving because they realize it fills a hole that the wealth never did, right? And so what ends up happening though is that from a societal perspective is that if all the best allocators of capital then tried to solve all the world's problems with the capital they had, so many fewer problems would exist that the whole world would get better. The other downstream effect of that is that it would get rid of a huge amount of kind of the cronyism, the nepotism, the things where, these seventh generation massive, wealth, trust fund, kids who it doesn't serve the kids either. You look at those families, they're a mess.
It's a lot of pressure.
On so many reasons. And so I'm a big believer in equal opportunity, not equal outcomes. And so if everybody's slate was clean day one because no one got daddy's inheritance, then everyone starts at zero as close as possible. Obviously genetics, can play a factor there, but I think that's as equal of a start as we can get. And then everyone starts at zero and the ones who super win then turn into super givers. And I like that.
I think it's being really honest with yourself about, we have the investors circle of competence, right? Yep. I think there's a content circle of competence that you have to know, if it's not in this circle, I shouldn't talk about it. And that's not because of brand, and that's not because of any of the fancy stuff. It's just because you don't know it. And anything that you have to add that's outside of the circle of competence will often be a generalization that you heard from someone else.
Right.
And if it's a generalization from someone else, then that's their opinion and not yours.
Right.
And so we want first principles, first experience type content. And so N equals 1, right? Or 1 of 0 content, as we say. And that's the litmus test. Is is it in that? Is it something we know from experience? And I had this video. I think the long that I had right before this was my explanation of how to get to 10 million plus a month. And I talked about, and I think this is how we get to 100 million a month. I don't know that because I haven't been there yet. But this is my current plan of how to get there. And somebody commented something, I can't remember what it was, but it's something like, well, you have no idea. I can coach you on it, whatever. Right? But the thing is I will only talk about retrospect. I will only talk about things that I have done because I can speak confidently on them. And if someone says, Gym Launch wasn't a company, it doesn't bother me because it's like saying you didn't have oatmeal for breakfast. I'm like, I did. So, okay. And that's what, in my opinion, has allowed me to not suffer from the many inevitable comments, whatever you get from the masses of people who don't know you. Because if someone says, hey, Alex, you're short, I know that's not true. And so it doesn't hit me. The only ones that hurt are the ones that you feel like have an element of truth. And so if there's an element of truth, it means that I probably stepped out of my circle of competence. And I think getting stung outside of my circle has really taught me, at least for me, to stay in my world of these are the few things that I know, and that is what I'll talk about. I think
Work
most
like-
people are just as happy and just like you're 50% happy, 50% sad for most of your life. If you're in an extreme circumstance, then change your life. If you're not, like conditions, like people get handicapped, they break their legs, or they can never move again, and they have a dip in their subjective well-being, and they go back to the same baseline. And so, like, the baseline is independent of conditions. And so, the world wants to tell us that we need to change our circumstances, and then we will be whatever. But like, every modern religion, every Buddhist monk will tell you that all of that's from the inside, not the outside.
But these are words that me and you
Ken said.
don't follow.
Yeah. Fair.
Because I'm sure that you've experienced like the attainment of a goal and then I just need 3 times more.
Yeah.
I'm referencing a study there where they asked people how much money they would need to be happy. And all the way up the income wealth spectrum, people said 3 times more than they have now. So people with 10K said 30. People with 3 million said, 9 million. No, I can do maths. 3 times 3 times 3.
Yeah.
And you I imagine you still experience that now, right?
Yeah. Different reasons, but yeah, for sure.
When is enough enough?
I don't think it's enough thing. I think it's more like who I want to be.
Who do you want to be?
I want to be the person capable of doing that, doing X. Like we'll get to 1 billion, and then after 1 billion, I'll make it 10. I already know that. You know what I mean? But like, I love playing the game.
What is the game?
Game of business.
To what end? Or just for
To play.
to play?
Yeah, I'm sure you know more about this than I do, but like just game theory, like the finite and infinite games. Simon Sinek has a great piece on it. But yeah, with infinite games, you have known and unknown players. You have no agreed upon rules, and the point of the game is to keep the game going. And so a lot of times people will take a finite game where you have only known players, agreed upon rules, and a set outcome for winning, and they will apply it to an infinite game. So people are like, they apply a finite construct to health. They're like, I want to win health. It's like, you don't win health. Like, okay, you're in shape. Now what? You stay in shape. You keep staying in shape. I want to win at marriage. You don't win at marriage. You keep the marriage going. That's playing the game of marriage. If you don't win at business, keep playing the game of business. And so we want to take these finite constructs and put them on infinite games. And I think that's where people get in trouble, because they're like, I have to keep moving the goalpost. But if the goalpost is to play, then you win by playing. And so for that, sure, we set goals for the company, but like, I'm 1,000% super motivated. And at the same time, if we never hit it, I'm just going to be happy that I was able to play. I also know that in 3 generations, everyone will forget her.
I saw your post about the Queen.
Yeah. So, was that a stat?
No. It wasn't for me, if I'm being honest. But it's an interesting. What did the post say? Remember?
Well, she amassed more wealth than 99.99% of the world. She ruled for 70 years. Was a female monarch, which is insane, especially 70 years ago. Just like it's had an amazing family, all this amazing whatever. I don't know the tabloids, you do. And when I posted it, it had been, I think, 5 or 6 months since she had died. Exactly. And I was like, you probably haven't thought about her today except for this post. She probably accomplished more in her life than we probably will. So if you are afraid of other people thinking about you, just remember that 6 months after you died, they're not going to be. And so it's like, we have all these fears about other people, but like most of them won't even show up to your funeral because they're going to be busy. And so like, I think about death all the time. And that's what I think for me has given me a lot of freedom to take big shots.
Is there anything you're unhappy about?
I would say I have the same complaints that any entrepreneur would, which is like, I always want things to happen faster. But like, I also realize that and try to adjust my expectations appropriately and talk to Solomon and be like, well, what did you expect? If I were to give me advice, I'd be like, you're doing fine. And it's actually happening faster than you originally thought it was going to happen. So like, you're really just readjusting your expectations so that you can be dissatisfied. Well, that sounds silly. No, I'm not. I'm like, honestly, I like my life. It's weird. It's odd nowadays to just be like, I like my life. Like I've spent a lot of effort to create an environment with people that I enjoy, doing things that I enjoy. Are there things day to day that come up that are stressors? Of course. Like that's, any business, anything you do has overhead, but I like what I do every day. And I think I'm pretty good at it. And that brings me a lot of enjoyment.
When you wake up, you'd say the off-the-rip emotion that you feel is
Tired.
How much sleep do you get?
Oh, I mean, I if I get 8, I can like cure cancer. So like I try to like I got two 8-hour sleeps in a row this last week, and I was like, I could literally repaint the Mona Lisa right now. Like I felt so good.
What occupies that time that would inhibit you to get 8 hours?
Nothing inhibits me from getting 8 hours. I just wake up earlier. That's like more often what happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't put an
naturally
alarm.
wake up?
Yeah, I haven't put an alarm on in
How do you do that?
forever.
Upon first wake up, do you get up or do you sometimes think?
No,
"Oh,
I try. If I can go back to sleep, I will. But I mean, there's a lot of things I want to do, and so
It's
like I
just
get
energy.
excited. Yeah. I mean, like I'll be physically tired, but like I'm excited mentally. Like my brain will turn on, and I'm like, there's all these things I want to do. I mean, there was a time when I had one of those rings that like did your sleep stuff,
Oura ring.
and I got more annoyed about the ring
Why?
than because this maybe an indication of how much I've changed over time.
Yeah.
I was 22 the last time I did this. So it was like 12 years ago. But I got so competitive with myself to try and like beat my last night's PR that I would like stress about trying to like I would like not move so that it wouldn't like wake the ring up to think that I was sleeping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm sleeping worse now that I have this ring on. So I was like, and if anything, I'd wake up the next day and it would give me a reason why like the day would like it would tell me if I was gonna have a good or bad day. And I was like, well, that's silly. Because I've had plenty of days that have been very little sleep and
Yeah.
great days, and I've had days
You know
where
what?
I slept great.
Because I have the Aura ring and I use it a lot.
Yeah.
And I do say that when I see in the morning that says like you did not get a good night of rest,
Yeah.
be careful today.
Yeah.
It does kind of put me in a mood where I'm like, oh crap. Yeah, it's telling me I got to be careful. I wouldn't have even thought about that
Yeah.
had it not been now planted in my mind that
Yeah.
maybe I'm going to be a little slower today.
Well, that's like the superstition stuff that I've
Yeah.
talked about, where it's like, Dr. Kashi, a good buddy of mine, he says he defines a scam as something that if you remove it, your function gets worse. And so it's like basically we create these crutches. So it's like, oh man, if I don't have my green juice in the morning, like I feel terrible. But then after a while, you start to be able to only take the green juice just to feel normal. Well, then if I take the green juice away, then I feel bad. Well, then that's a scam. Like it doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't work. And so I'm super cautious. And to your point about like creatine at the very earlier, it's like I just really try not to be superstitious about anything because I want to have as many of the controllables under my control as I can. And if I love the idea of competing against somebody who has a million crutches. It's like you just knock one of them out, they're screwed. Like if my competitor if I don't have 8 hours of sleep, I'm a bear. It's like, well, can't wait for you to have one bad night's sleep, and then I'll just run the day because I don't mind having a short night's sleep instead of working. Like I work fine. So, anyways, all that to say, sometimes I sleep shorter and sometimes I sleep longer. I sleep as long as I can. Writing a book to make money off of a book is possibly the worst monetization vehicle of all time. It's a physical product. You have a 16-week lead time. You have to manage inventory counts. You make no money on it. You have to sell it on a platform that takes 80% of the money, or you have to go to a publisher that also takes 80% of the money. There's no winning from a money, the percentage of the offers is top 100 Audible books still on Amazon 2 years later, and top 1,000 physical books.
Wow.
There's like 60. There's I think 60 million titles. There's 6 or 60 million. That's a big difference, obviously, but a lot of books on Amazon, and so it's a 0.0001% book, and it does. I mean, it makes money, but it makes less than any of my portfolio companies. To give a reference of scale.
Yeah, I mean, you're not retiring from the
Right,
book.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, if I spent no money, you know what I mean? Any of the companies we have makes more money than the book.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, but it's like it lives on forever.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's if I were to die tomorrow, the thing I'd be most proud of is the books. Because I knew that would be the thing that would outlive me the longest.
Yeah.